Yo, what's the dealio, man? Listen, you already know I got a straight banger for you guys today, all right? This gonna be a real special video, y'all, all right? But before we get started, I gotta go through a couple things. Number one, we got the live tonight, all right? We're gonna be doing some charting session tonight, probably around 6 or 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9 or 9:30 Eastern, all right? Be sure to tap in with that. Next thing is, if you did not see a video from me yesterday, unfortunately, YouTube took it down. All right, they said we was making too much money, right? And we was knocking these plays out the park. And what happened was they took it down. All right, so what I need from y'all, I need all good energy around this channel, right? Because we growing, and we can't let nobody, no reporting stop what's going on. So what I will say is nothing in my videos are financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, okay? All I'm doing is sharing what I've learned to help whoever is open to hearing what I got to say, right? Make money and change their life in the stock market, all right? So with that being said, y'all, if you missed out on the watch list yesterday, we had some bangers. And this is why y'all got to join the Prosperity Collective, because if you see these levels inside of there, that ain't going to get taken down, all right? Hey, yo, real quick, I gotta interrupt this video. I just gotta shout out and show some love to Ashley A from the Discord, right? So she is not only a money getter, but she took some of her profits from trading stock options, took a trip to Kenya for 2 weeks, right? Whole stock market paid for it. And then she blessed me with this nice leather Letterman jacket right here. And as you can see, we got the logo, right? We got the more you study, the less you worry. We got what's the dealio, and don't get faked out. That's something that we say almost every day inside of Discord, all right? So you watching this, Ashley, you are greatly appreciated, and let's keep it going. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, should I say anything less, right? Market going up like elephant trunks. So today I wanna talk about this week, okay? This is the biggest week of the year, potentially, in the stock market. Why is it the biggest week? Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have about 30% of the SPY is going to be reporting earnings. All right. So many companies are about to be reporting earnings. Not only that, we have a trade deal that's supposed to be getting announced by Trump and China. And then we also have FOMC. Okay. So the question is, okay, I don't want to feel overwhelmed by this. How do I handle this, right? How do I trade this week? So let me break this down. Number one, I'm gonna say slow down, okay? Slow down, relax. That's number one. What you gotta do is slow down and relax. Number two, you gotta start to ask yourself, how do I wanna approach this? All right? First things first, what I'm gonna tell you is, do not sit here and try to play earnings, right? Because I did a video about IV crush, implied volatility crush. If you get a contract and earnings is tomorrow, and if the stock does not make the anticipated move, your contracts are going to be cooked and you're going to lose money. Instead, all you have to do is just wait until earnings has been reported. The next day happens, there's a gap up or a gap down. It's either going to continue or it's going to come back and fill the gap. That's all it's going to do, most likely, right? Or it's going to consolidate, and then the next day it'll go in a direction. That's all you got to do. I just want to simplify this, okay? So do not play earnings unless you have a very, very strong inclination and you also have time on your contracts, right? Do not get this week's expiration unless you know for a fact, number one, is going with the direction it's going, and also number two, the risk, you're okay with taking that risk, whatever your risk is, right? Whatever amount of money, you got to be okay with losing that total amount of money. All right. So those are some things right there. So don't sit here and just be blindly saying, oh, they got earnings. I like iPhone, so let me go get a Apple contract and let me go. I know they got earnings. I think they gonna do good. Like, it ain't about what you think. All right. Number two, I need you guys to understand Trump announces a lot of news after hours. All right. So this is not the week to be playing around. If you are not 100% convicted, do not enter a swing trade overnight, because the charts can look good and then something can happen after hours, and then the play could go the opposite way, and now you wake up and now you down 80-90% on your contract, right? So please understand that right now is a great time to day trade. There's enough volatility to where even if a stock came up, it's going to come back down later on in the day, and you could make your money that way. All right? So you got to understand, what place does volatility play in the market? If I have a highly volatile environment, I may want to stick to day trading and get some solid moves day trading. If we're in a trending market and it's going to be trending for 2, 3, 4, 5 days at a time, then I could swing trade a lot easier. But this week specifically, depending on what stocks you're trading, don't swing trade unless you are 100% convicted. And honestly, you shouldn't even be swing trading unless you're 100% convicted anyway, right? Within that trade and that move, right? If it ain't a hell yes, it's a F no. All right? That's my mentality. I got to be able to be like, hell yeah to this trade. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a F no. And sometimes you got to learn how to say no more than you say yes. Okay? That's another thing that you want to make sure you understand. All right, so we got earnings. We got trade deals about to get announced. We don't know when. They gave us a date, but we don't know when, and we don't know what news is going to happen after hours as well. And then we got FOMC, which is an interest rate decision. Okay? Now, if you haven't traded FOMC, then you probably shouldn't. All right, just wait for a direction. And then after that, you could enter in your trades. All right, and then we got some more data on Friday as well. So we have a week full of data. We have a trade agreement announcement about to get made after they've been playing around all month. This is why I said October is the most volatile month of the year, right? Gave you guys the data and everything, so I prepared you. But also, we're about to end the month. This is the last few days of the month. So you don't know if we're going to blast off or if we're going to drop. Even though interest rates are supposed to, they're projected to drop, that does not mean that the market is just going to blast off. That does not mean that, right? I have seen it on the charts where it was last December. They dropped the rates, right? Interest rates got cut. And what happened? You could go look on charts on TradingView. We had a bearish day. We gapped down bad. And it took about 5 days to recover from that gap down. All right? So just because you hearing, oh, the market about to go up, it don't work like that. You got to make sure that you aren't sitting here and acting like the stock market is a casino and it's a slot machine. And you got to make sure you paying attention to price action. If you do not protect your capital, you are going to get cooked. All right? You will get cooked. Don't get cooked in the market because you're impatient and you're trying to get rich overnight. What do I always say? Get rich over time, not overnight. All right? So listen, y'all. I want you guys to make sure that you guys understand this stuff. This isn't about what stock is going to do this. This is about making sure that you understand where you're at and what's going on. Okay? Don't play earnings unless you know for a fact and or you are okay with the risk, right? And understand implied volatility. If you don't understand implied volatility, if you don't understand the anticipated move of a stock, do not play earnings. Wait until after earnings, right? And then take your trades that way. It's either going to continue or it's going to come down and start to fill the gap where it just gapped up from or down from. All right? That's big. We got the trade announcement. What's going to happen with that? A lot of those announcements usually be after hours when the market is closed. When you are in a position and the market is closed, there is nothing that you can do about it. It ain't a stop loss that could stop that stock from coming down. And then tomorrow, when you open up your account, you down 100%, and then your stop loss triggers, and now you down. I mean, you out of the trade at whatever amount, right? So let's make sure that we're being responsible when we're trading. Okay? That's a big thing. And then we got FOMC. Just because you see Powell start talking and he say one good thing, that don't mean that it's time yet. You want to let the dust settle, right? And you want to give it a little bit of time before you start jumping into these trades, because you could become a wick, all right? And I'm going to make a whole video on becoming a wick, but you do not want to just be out here, oh, he said he dropping interest rates, let me go get in calls. It don't work like that, because just because he said that does not mean that the market is going to react positive yet. You got to give it a little bit of time. You got to let the volume come into the market, come into the charts, and then you can say, okay, now this trade is backed by, volume going into this direction, so that's when I'm going to get in. All right? I just want to make sure that you guys understand how to move and how to maneuver this week, because you can make a lot of money. There's going to be people this week over the next 4 days. Today was cool. Today was chill, right? I smacked IWM. I do almost every single day, right? But this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there are going to be people that make 10K, 50K, 25K, 100K, 250K this week alone, okay? The stakes are high this week. We have so many economic reports, earnings. We got so much big stuff on the way. Do not blow your account tomorrow. I hope you didn't blow your account today, because this week can really change your life, but you just have to let it. All right? And the last thing I'm going to say is understand how during the earnings, the week of earnings, the stocks premiums are way higher, and that goes back to the implied volatility, right? I don't trade stocks before their earnings the week of, because I'm not going to overpay for a contract. If I'm trading Google and I'm used to trading it and putting in $250 a contract, I'm not going to go put $800 per contract just because they got earnings this week. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just go trade IWM, right? That's how you got to understand. You got to always make sure you're protecting your capital through smart decisions. All right? So listen, y'all, we got the chart session tonight. Send some good energy on this channel in the comments, y'all. All right? This is not financial advice. All I'm doing is sharing my expertise and what I've done, how I've been able to quit my job and change my own personal life. All right? So like I always say, make sure you get up out your head, go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right? And also remember, y'all, the more you study, the less you worry. All right? I appreciate y'all time, man. Y'all stay smooth, and I'm going to holler at you guys later on tonight. Peace.